Greetings, all you 19th century holographic villains out there, and welcome to the Inner Four Lights, a watch of Star Trek Picard Season 3. My name is Fletcher. About to say hello is Data.
Greetings.
Our man in France. Did you have any fun adventures in France?
Sure. Not Star Trek related, though.
You didn't get any Molotov cocktails thrown on you or anything?
Nope.
Okay, good.
I don't drink cocktails. It's fine.
So yes, sorry we're a little bit late getting this out, and sorry this is going up when there should be a Deep Space Nine. So if you're a undeclared Bajor fan, but not a Picard fan, sorry, it'll be back next week at its regularly scheduled time. So we should have this up on Friday, and we'll have this week's Picard up on Monday. Unless something happens. Or I just get lazy.
That's a thing that could happen.
It is a thing that can and often does happen. Anyway, as I mentioned, we're also the host of Star Trek Deep Space Nine podcast, Undeclared Bajor, available on the Fletcher from the Deep YouTube channel, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening to this. So if you like listening to us and you like Star Trek Deep Space Nine, go check that out. Never seen Star Trek Deep Space Nine? Or haven't watched Star Trek Deep Space Nine in a while? Why don't you start your own Star Trek Deep Space Nine rewatch and then watch along with us? Listen to our many podcasts available now.
If you haven't watched Star Trek Deep Space Nine, this season of Picard may be kind of confusing for you.
Yeah, that too. You may have had some stuff spoiled.
Yeah.
But today we're going to recap, discuss, and theorize about Star Trek Picard Season 3, Episode 6 / Part 6, The Bounty. Alternate title, It's Burgle Time.
I don't really know how the bounty applies to this episode. I feel like other episodes in the season could have applied the bounty more appropriately, but...
Well, they stole the cloaking device from the bounty.
Oh, I was still thinking of Jack Crusher, the bounty. Okay, then yeah.
And they're kind of like... They're kind of the bounty, because I guess they're on a mutiny from Starfleet. So, they're kind of in the situation they were in Star Trek 4, I guess. I think that's what they're trying to tie in. I don't know.
So there's whales that need to be gotten. Got it.
Exactly. The next 4 episodes will be all about whales. In fact, that's the whole Changeling plan. The whole Changeling plan is to kill all the whales so that those mean aliens come back and kill the whole Federation or something. Anyway, what was I saying? This will be a full spoiler discussion. All spoilers for everything ever are on the table. This episode was written by Christopher Monfett and directed again by Dan Liu. So they're doing all directors get 2 episodes at a time, I guess.
Sure.
Okay. Episode recap. Previously on Star Trek Picard, Rose sacrificed to save herself. No, she sacrificed herself to save Picard, Riker, and a Skeleton Titan crew so they could get away. And Worf and Raffi got the hacking key to Daystrom Station from the Vulcan guy. That's pretty much all you need to know.
Yeah, that's the important stuff.
So, this week, this episode, a beacon with USS Titan written on it floats in space, sending out space pings, like sonar pings or something.
So it's the crybaby from the first episode of Firefly.
Exactly. Or was that the first episode? I don't remember. The pilot, which was actually aired much later than the first episode.
Yeah, I mean that's true. I don't go by the air dates of those are clearly all wrong.
When people my age were spending their Friday nights going out and having fun, I was watching Firefly in its original airing. And the show that came on after it, John Doe, which I still kind of like.
See, that's like talking about the Clerks cartoon, and you got to watch it in the original air order, which makes no sense because it's the second episode that they made was a clip show of the first episode they made, and that was the joke. It was it's a clip show, but it's only the second episode, so we only have one episode to flash back to, and then they aired that episode first.
Right.
So it's just like, you can't trust air dates.
It creates a unique experience. Anyway, suddenly 3 Starfleet ships are right on top of the Crybaby beacon thing. Elsewhere, a similar beacon has lured the Shrike. So I guess they're just dropping these things all over the place.
Yep.
Werq is very frustrated at Picard continuing to elude them. And in this scene, she specifically seems concerned with Picard, not Jack.
Yeah, for the first time, she seems to want Picard.
But, who knows? Later, suddenly they're all focused on Jack again, so I don't know.
Maybe they think Jack is Picard. They just call him Jack Picard for some reason.
Picard. She gives a little speech about her hatred of the Federation and so on. Has a naysaying subordinate executed.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, so I guess the whole, like, changelings don't hurt other changelings. That's just out the window. Got it.
Sure. I mean, these are rogue. These are bad changelings. Then she gets to work tracking down Picard's known associates, and then does more speechifying. You know, the night will brighten with the ashes of the Federation, and so on and so on. So, I guess Werq is the leader of the changelings.
I mean, she definitely had a boss who was yelling at her to do stuff previously.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So.
Okay. Because at first I was operating under the assumption she was a human hired by the changelings, because she already had a reputation as a bounty hunter or whatever. So, I'm still not clear on what's going on. If this is the original Werq, or if Werq got replaced by a changeling.
That's true. I didn't think about that. Werq could have just been replaced.
I don't know. Anyway, on the Titan, Beverly and Picard study scans of Jack's brain. Beverly diagnoses him with Irritmatic syndrome and attributes his weird visions to same, which I feel like that's a little bit of a leap of logic, but...
Yeah, I mean, these are some weirdly specific visions, but she's like, gives the symptoms or whatever, and you're like, oh, okay, that fits.
Yeah. Picard catches up with Jack in 10 Forward. Jack jokes that there's not another robot body laying around for him to download himself into, and that is apparently his mother failed to protect him from his father after all, because he was doomed from birth. And he says something about those Japanese teacups that get put together with melted gold, which I forget what that's called, but...
Yeah, I didn't... I mean, I guess I've seen that before. I didn't realize it was, like, a thing that, like, it was a regular happening.
Yeah, it's like an art form or a hobby that some people have or whatever. Is like gluing stuff back together. Anyway. Luckily, the mood is lightened when Worf and Raffi beam aboard. And then Worf thanks Picard for his many bottles of sour mead.
Yeah, we're everyone just doesn't like Picard's wine, is what we're learning.
It's like Chateau Picard might not be a very good wine. I don't know. After some hugs and awkward reunions, they gather everybody ranked commander and up into the conference room and get down to business. Worf brings everyone up to speed on the changeling, or the rogue changeling situation, and the plan to break into Daystrom Station to find out what else the changelings stole. And then these guys also seem to be just taking it for granted now that Werq is the leader of all the changelings, and I don't know how they came to that conclusion.
Yeah,
but whatever. And then Picard has the line, "So we burgle the very institution hunting us." And then Riker commends the use of the word burgle, and Shaw nods approvingly.
It's just random, like, hey, good use of that word. And Picard's like, yeah, thanks.
Excellent use of the word burgle, Jean-Luc. Worf and Raffi again bring up the mystery AI guarding the vault and the key that they got from the Vulcan guy, so we rehash that. So they zip over to the station. Worf, Riker, and Raffi beam aboard. Seven isn't coming, which Worf is glad of. He has that great line. He's like, "I was practicing deceit."
Yep. He's like, oh yeah, lovers can totally go on missions together. It works out
lovers
really well.
in battle is a great thing. Absolutely.
It's like, I'm not coming. Oh, thank
God. So yeah, they beam on. Worf sticks in the key, and Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. The door opens. And then there's also this weird part where it was like, Raffi says, like, we've got about seconds until the, like, fatal security measures come on or whatever. Which, like, wouldn't you just say we have seconds? Why did you say about seconds?
I don't remember that line very well.
It sounded like she was going to say a number, like, we've got about 15 seconds or something.
And then she realized that she didn't know how long they had. So
or like,
like,
the editor realized that how would she know how long they had, so they just edited that little part out or something. I don't know.
Now I'm going back to this. Hold on. Let's see.
It just sounded really weird to my ears.
They beam in. Welcome, Daystrom visitors.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we've got about seconds. And she doesn't even hesitate. I was like, was she like, we've got about... And then she realized she doesn't know. And she's like, seconds. But no, she just... We've got about seconds till it happens. Okay, yeah, you're right. That's a weird line.
Yeah, I think it might have got chopped up in editing. Anyway, suddenly 2 Starfleet ships arrive at the station. It seems they brought transport inhibitors and traceable weapons. So, like, weapons that they can fire at the Titan. And if the Titan gets hit, they'll be able to trace the Titan wherever it goes.
Man, you should just always use those. I don't know why
handy.
that wasn't used before.
Maybe they suck at other aspects of being weapons. I don't know. So Picard says they need to get out of there fast. Crash LaForge says that, short of being invisible, they won't be able to come back and get the away team. This seems to give Picard an idea. He calls Riker and says, "We'll be back." And he has Crash LaForge set a course for Aethan Prime.
And she's like, "I don't think that's a good idea." And he's like, "Do it anyway."
She knows what's Aethan Prime. You've been down that road before, Crash LaForge. You know where it ends. Okay, so I'm a little confused, because the station is patrolled by Starfleet, but then, so they're like, we have to be back, we definitely have to be back before an hour is up, because then the Starfleet patrol will show up. But Starfleet is already there.
It's true.
So, like, what happens when the Starfleet patrol shows up and there's already Starfleet ships there?
See, my thinking at when they said the line or whatever, you know, they were going to go, they had to come back before the patrols. I was just like, okay, so maybe these 2 ships that have shown up don't know that they beamed anyone down, and they'll just like take off after them. Is the idea, and then it won't be until someone comes and actually like goes through the station on a patrol that they're like, oh, there's people here. But that doesn't seem to be what actually happens. So
yeah. I mean, I'm just not clear. There's several things I'm not clear of in this episode. But, so the Burgle team moves deeper into the station and finds many Easter eggs in there, including apparently the skeleton of James Kirk.
Yeah, so, James Kirk's body is there. Somebody on Reddit, like, blew up the words and, up to the you could see them a little better. And mostly it's like stuff from basically like a Wikipedia article on him or it's just like, he won these awards and whatever. But it ends with like critically injured when assisting Captain Jean-Luc Picard on Veridian 3. The body was something for Project Phoenix. So maybe recovered or I couldn't read that one, but it's apparently there's some sort of Phoenix project happening that they have got him off of that planet for.
Maybe they're going to resurrect Kirk, and then we'll have a new show with a new Kirk in the 25th century or something.
See, one of the theories on Reddit was like, maybe in like the finale, it'll be the old fleet that's not networked together and ready to be destroyed, a la Battlestar Galactica, against the new fleet, and it will be like Picard will be commanding his old Enterprise, and Janeway will or 7 of 9 will command Voyager, and Kirk will get to command the Enterprise A. And I was like, wow, he'd have to come back to life real quick for that, and like be brought up to speed.
I bet he could do it.
But yeah, it's there's a Genesis 2 device.
Oh yeah, there's a Genesis device in there.
That's risky. And there's
a Tribble.
Yeah, there's the evil genetically engineered Tribble, which was creepy. And there was also what appeared to be a Borg vinculum.
Vinculum?
Yeah, that's it's like the big CPU in the middle of the Borg ships. It was the thing in Voyager.
Sure. Okay. So yeah, as they search for access to the vault, they encounter a holographic crow. And Riker finds this crow very familiar, which, come on.
Well, my thing was like, I find the Crow familiar because I remember that episode of The Next Generation. I
Right.
don't think that Riker saw the Crow.
Yeah, that's one thing, first of all. Like, how much did Riker... Like, yeah, that whole thing happened inside Data's head, right? That was a dream.
Exactly.
So did he, like... I think he painted a picture of the crow or something, didn't he?
Oh, maybe, yeah, that's a good point.
But still, it's like all crows look the same. Like, I don't know.
Man, that crow had certain identifying features that make me think I've seen it before.
I know that crow. This isn't just any holographic crow. Anyway.
But, like, everyone else is like, forget about the fucking crow.
Yeah.
Like, it probably is not in any way important.
It's like, we're in the weird, like, Indiana Jones Ark of the Covenant vault. There's probably all kinds of weird stuff in here.
That genetically modified tribble is so creepy.
Yeah.
I assume that Section 31 was, going to use it as some sort of biological weapon. But
Sure. Like the tribbles were going to eat up the Great Link or something.
Yeah, you just drop a couple of them on a planet that you don't like, and before long, they've reproduced by eating all of everything, including all the people.
Right. It's like, it becomes a gray goo scenario, except it's like fuzzy.
Yeah.
Like colorful fuzzy.
Exactly.
And then also, I think it was the part with the tribble where Riker weirdly notes the change in Worf's personality, which could that be a clue to something? Like,
I don't think so. It was a big thing before
Sure.
before the season started that it was like, yeah, Worf's going to be like a pacifist now.
Yeah. But Riker was like, oh, this new personality, I don't know. So yeah, Worf finds the vault entrance.
Oh, we passed over a brief little thing where it's like the security system scans Riker and his Starfleet personnel file pops up, and there's a couple of things in there that were
Some
kind
Easter
of
eggs.
interesting. Yeah, it's like William T. in quotes Will Riker, and then it's got security number or serial number rather, current assignment unknown. But apparently it's the first time that his mother's name has appeared, which is Betty C. Riker.
Okay.
And then he has his Starfleet Academy class of a class of 57, where he graduated 8th in his class.
Huh. Not bad.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know how many people are in a class, but I assume that it's a decent number.
That sounds like Magna to me. So.
And also, there's a bubble on here that just says high-ranking officer.
Or I guess Suma is higher than Magna, isn't it?
Suma is the highest, right?
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
So, yeah, he was probably Suma.
So, yeah, we learn his birth date, we learn his mom's name, all sorts of little interesting things in that pop-up.
Will this information become a clue to something? Who knows?
Probably not.
So, anyway, yeah. So, sparks start flying, weird musical notes start playing, which... Riker starts calling out by their, like, it's like, that's a F sharp or whatever, which is a little bit weird because, wouldn't you just be like, like do, mi, fa, do, but whatever.
He's a music guy, you let him do his thing.
Okay, whatever works for him, I guess. Yeah, so an ominous voice says, I think, therefore I am. It's Moriarty, who points an old-timey revolver at them. Bum, bum, bum.
And then misses his first shot. He's really not that good.
Right. But first, back on the Titan. They arrive at 8th and Prime, home of the Fleet Museum and the old space dock. This is the old space dock, not the new space dock that I guess we saw earlier. That looked exactly the same.
Right, yeah.
They take a moment to admire all the freeze-frameable Easter eggs and then get a call from a very angry-looking Geordie, who soon beams aboard with his other daughter, Alondra. And this is the daughter, I believe, that is played by LeVar Burton's actual daughter.
Yes, it is. That is Mika Burton.
Okay.
She used to be an employee at Rooster Teeth, so I've seen her around.
So people were getting confused about which daughter was which. Also, I didn't mention this in the last episode, but Crash LaForge apparently got a haircut after
I did not notice.
She saw her, I noticed it in the last episode, because, like, there was a scene where she saw the dead changeling that looked like her, and then she threw up. And the next time we saw her, she had a different hairdo.
She threw up in her hair and had to get it, yeah, okay.
Possibly, I don't know. It's never mentioned, like, where this new hairdo came from. So Geordi tells them, there's nothing they can do. The fleet is fully integrated, and sooner or later the Titan will be found. And then he scolds Picard for dragging Crash and the rest into danger.
It's such a bad idea and he talks about, like, he's like, I didn't think this was a good idea, and I'm just like, nobody in the future has seen Battlestar Galactica apparently, and they don't understand that this is really not a great idea to just network your entire fleet together.
Yeah, well, I mean, linking all your stuff to a single point of weakness is never a good idea. And then also he talks about that his objection to the plans to, I guess, bring the whole fleet together for
he's like, I'm writing the 5th memo
Frontier
or whatever
Day
against this.
So apparently it's pretty obvious to a lot of people that some bad idea stuff is happening, but there's nothing they can do. Anyway, back on Daystrom. The team get into a shootout with Moriarty while the weird notes continue to play. Suddenly, Riker has a flashback to Encounter at Farpoint and is able to decipher the music notes as Pop Goes the Weasel, the song Data was whistling when they first met. So he whistles the end of the tune and Moriarty says, "Marvelous," and vanishes, presumably forever, killing all hopes we had of, like, the green cube coming back or anything.
Yeah, it is. Okay, the time that he had on screen, I felt like he was great.
Sure.
I thought it was cool and even a little bit, like, scary, which was exactly what it was going for. I thought it was really good. And at the same time, I'm like, oh, okay, so we weren't bringing back the actual Moriarty.
Right, yes. This is not the real Moriarty.
It was a fake, different holographic Moriarty that was just here as a security measure because of Data. And so, like, the time we wasted watching that episode and all the theories about how Moriarty was going to be involved, it was all pointless. So
yep, exactly. Moriarty presumably is still in the green cube on Lieutenant Barclay's coffee table or something.
Yep.
So after they've defeated Moriarty, a door opens, leading the team to a new room where an old man who looks like Data is staring off into space. But this was pretty cool, the way they kind of cut together the reveal of the new Data with the original, like, restored Encounter at Farpoint scene or whatever.
Yeah.
They wonder at the mystery robot until someone activates a recording of some Soong talking about how he built an old man robot and filled it with a mix of LOL, B4, lore, and Data. And boy, just what a winning mix.
Yeah, it's really... I mean, okay, so that's guy from season 1 of this show.
Sure. Since
you didn't see that gave Picard his new body.
Sure.
And so he's made Data one of these bodies.
It doesn't matter. He's some Soong.
And so, I'm like, why would you put lore in there? Like, how does that help anybody?
And I'm sure B4 is just adding so much to this mix.
Yeah.
So they decide that this robot must know what got stolen from the station. But before they can access the information, a burglar alarm goes off for some reason. So I don't know, they tripped an extra alarm besides the one that they already got around or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Back on the Titan, Jack tries out the captain chair and plays a little game of Name the Ship with Seven.
I love 7 of 9 being like, get out. And he's like, what? I'm just trying it out. And then she just lets him sit there.
Yeah, what's the harm? So, the first ship they point to is the Defiant, which notably has a cloaking device that is probably fully compatible with Federation technology.
That can't be the original Defiant. That's got to be the...
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I take that back. Well, yeah, that actually does bring up... I'm forgetting what happened now to the Defiant. I remember something.
During the Dominion War, when all of a sudden it's like, oh no, the Breen have joined the Dominion Alliance.
Sure.
Like, the Breen have these new weapons that we've never seen before, that they just, like, shoot you and it completely disables your ship. And the Defiant falls victim to that and is then destroyed.
Right. But then they never got, like, a Defiant A or anything?
No, they got the Admiral Ross or whoever brings the Sao Paulo, which then gets renamed to USS Defiant.
Okay.
Which I guess then, because of its amazing status as helping win the Dominion War, goes to the museum or something. I don't know why the Defiant then ends up in the museum and is not, like, still in active duty or anything, but it's been a while, so lots could have happened.
I don't know. It's there so that we can remember the Defiant. We the fans.
And maybe if stuff comes true, then Worf will get to command the Defiant during some big final battle.
They also spot the Voyager, which causes Seven and Jack to wax poetic about the human need for family or something, and then Seven notes that Jack shares his father's knack for drive-by poetic observations, which that's never really what I thought of Captain Picard. Like, he always had some, like, wisdom, but it was always some, like, it was never, like, really poetic, I felt like, but I don't know. Then Jack notices a Klingon bird of prey on display. The Bounty, explains Seven, from Star Trek 4. Remember the whales?
Oh yeah, the whale thing.
Apparently the cloaking device activated when it sank in San Francisco Bay, and they had a hard time finding it. So I guess one of the whales, like, accidentally punched the cloaking device back on.
Yeah. Or the water got in there and shorted out and made it cloak, or who knows.
But this gives Jack an idea. Geordi talks with Picard about how he can't help because he has to focus on protecting his children. Then Crash LaForge comes in, he has a chat with her, and she reminds him that her crew is her family now. Then he runs into Captain Shaw, who fanboys out on him for a little bit.
Yeah, I guess, as someone who started as an engineer, he's all about LaForge. Riker.
Apparently LaForge is just so legendary. Like, LaForge is just like the most famous guy in the Federation, it seems like.
Well, he's a Commodore, which we haven't seen many of over the course of the series. I think they or the franchise. I think they popped up like a couple times in Next Generation or something, but not often.
However, so things get disrupted when it turns out that Jack and the LaForge sisters stole the cloaking device from the Bounty and installed it on the Titan.
And I like Geordi goes off on Picard, like, how dare you? And I'm like, he was with you the whole time,
right?
Man. Like,
well, I like they have this moment where, like, Picard's like, Jack, and then Geordi's like, Crash, or whatever. Or Sydney, whatever her real name is.
That's her name. It's Crash. It's fine.
Yeah. So, yeah, finally Geordi agrees to help and fixes their crappily installed cloaking device.
Yeah, I like the discussion where it's just like, this is wrong, and we need to do a thing, but if we don't do it just right, it'll, like, fry the whole ship.
Sure.
And neither of them has any idea how to fix it, basically, and all of a sudden Geordi's like, I know how to fix it.
So you just take the cloaking device and plug it into, like, the aux port, or whatever.
Get a USB-C cable, and...
Right. These old Klingon ones are on, like, the other format cable. They're on
it's like an HDMI cable.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
It's like the old HDMI cable. It looks the same, but it's totally different. Anyway, he apparently fixes it. They warp to Daystrom to retrieve the Burgle crew and the Data lore bot.
Yeah,
but they are beaten there by Starfleet. Riker bravely holds off the Starfleet, whoever these people are, the bad Starfleet or the good Starfleet, but is hit with a transport inhibitor and captured. So they are the bad Starfleet, I'm pretty sure.
Well, okay, so in shortly, we see, like, 3 Starfleet guys, and one of them's, like, beating up Riker to interrogate him, right. And the other 2 are standing there.
Indicating that these are clearly not good Starfleet people.
Not good guys. But then it turns out that the one of them is actually Vadic, and the other 2 did not know because she instantly kills them both. Yeah. So it's like, okay, so they're not, like, involved in this conspiracy. They're just assholes. So I think maybe they're supposed to be like Section 31 or something. And so you're like, oh, okay, well, yeah, they would obviously be okay with, like, beating up random people.
Because that whole thing was confusing. Because it was like, okay, obviously these guys are working for the Changelings, right? Or they are Changelings. And then she shoots the 2 guys. And it's like, wait, okay. So those weren't. So, yeah, those were just people who are fine with watching another security officer beat up a dude?
Yeah, I guess so. Not just a dude, like a captain.
Right, exactly.
One of the most famous officers in Starfleet.
Very, very confusing. But that must be what happened, I guess. Either that or, like, there's different faction. Like, there's one faction of Changelings trying to infiltrate Starfleet and another one trying whatever Vadic is doing or something. I don't know.
Could be.
I doubt it, but... And then Worf immediately vows to recover Riker from whatever god, man, or beast has him. So if a lion has him, Worf is ready to go in.
Yep.
Picard and Jack have a little heart-to-heart where Jack acknowledges that he got some good features for Picard other than the Irmotic syndrome, so maybe going a little overboard on the sappy father-son stuff.
Yeah. What can you do?
Yeah. Geordi and daughters get to work tinkering with the android, and Crash somehow knows the exact right tool to use on this one-of-a-kind robot.
Yeah.
She's like, obviously, use the doot spanner, not the doot screwdriver or whatever.
Well, because, the primary port needed to be opened first, and so...
Okay. So they turn him on, and although he has some pretty clear split personality issues, he is finally able to remember what was stolen. He turns his eyeballs into hollow emitters, and reveals that what was stolen was the body of Jean-Luc Picard.
Yep. Which, on the one hand, makes your theory about how they needed Picard DNA or something... you're like, well, they do seem to want that, but at the same time, it's like, but they don't need Jack Crusher to get that. They have the body.
Well, I have a revised theory, which I'll get to in a second.
Okay. And it's like Section 31 has a collection of Enterprise captains in their storage. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, just anytime in Enterprise, do they have Rachel Garrett's skeleton in there?
Could be.
Recovered from whatever that battle was.
Yeah, the battle between the Klingons and the Romulans, the very famous battle, the name of which I don't recall.
Yeah, that was mentioned that one time. And also the android reveals his name is M510. So
yep, Mbot 5 whatever 10. Yeah, we'll have to come up with something
sure. Also. So I guess these hollow emitter eyeballs are a new feature.
I think they're a good feature, why not?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I just think that Soong guy was like, it would be cool. But yeah, so, and then...
Picard should be like, can I do that with my body?
It's like, Geordi's like, ooh, can I have some updated eye implants?
Oh yeah, his eyes too. That's a good point.
But yeah, they so we get that scene back on Daystrom where Riker is beaten by Starfleet security. And then this time they want to know the location of Picard and Jack. And then for reasons unknown, the interrogator shoots his friends and turns into Vadic. Then Vadic takes Riker to the Shrike, and then we get this weird part where Riker looks at the eyes wide shut alien. He's like, how much of that goo shit did they pour into you? What does that mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
Does he think that's where shapeshifters come from?
I thought it was a really great bit. It makes no sense, but I just like him trying to talk trash and not sure how, so he's just coming up with shit.
Was there a plot point they edited out or something about how they were pouring shapeshifter goo into people? I don't know. But then, so, he's like, I'll never talk. But then Vadic reveals that they have Deanna. Or
maybe, probably.
Something. It seemed like she was a hologram for a second, but...
No, I thought she was just, behind a force field.
Oh, okay.
So that's maybe why she looked a little strange. But also, we know that this is a crew of shapeshifters, so...
Oh, yeah. Riker should keep that in mind.
Yeah, seriously.
Before he does anything foolish. Anyway, that's the end of the episode.
Yep.
The end. Okay, so what if somehow I had it backwards and they put the Locutus aspect, the Borg aspect of Locutus into Jack Crusher's brain somehow?
Oh.
And that's why he keeps having these visions that are like, come home or whatever. And maybe it's like a Borg queen or something summoning him home.
Huh.
And so maybe they need to get the Locutus out of his brain and put it into the Picard body to make a new fully functional Locutus who can summon the real Borg, as Shaw puts it, and to destroy the entire fleet at once on Frontier Day.
Interesting. Okay.
That's what I got with that. Because yeah, like why do they need Jack and Picard's body?
Yeah, it's weird. I agree. It's hard to come up with a good theory for that. So way to go.
Yeah. And then also, if it turns out that Jack's visions are just Irumodic syndrome, I'm gonna be a little mad. Because they seem to be really meaningful. Anyway, that's literally all I have under theories.
Okay, so I think the one theory that I saw that I thought was kind of interesting was basically like, yeah, I mean, the changelings took his body. Maybe they're trying to resurrect Locutus and do like a whole Locutus thing in order to control some whatever, some Borg, whether it's, that basically goes along with what you're saying, and it would make some kind of sense because honestly, why would you need the Picard's dead body?
Right.
But this person took it a bit further into, because we still got that like something weird's happening with the transporters. What's up with that?
Oh yeah.
And the first changeling on the Titan impersonated the transporter chief. So maybe there's something, and this person was theorizing that they're like using the transporter to basically like infect people with like some Borg nanites, or maybe like some sort of nanovirus that then they'll be able to like activate and basically like Borg up everybody, and then everybody will be able to be controlled by Locutus.
And then Locutus can command them all to like crash into each other or something.
Yeah, or whatever. Yeah.
Or just work for the Dominion. Who knows? But Vatic seems to be looking forward to... She said something about like bodies floating in space or something. So
yeah,
I think they're planning on doing something really deadly. I think they're basically planning to destroy Starfleet. And then...
I mean, if all the ships are going to be together, which, okay, it doesn't even make any sense to ever have all your ships together, because like the Federation is a very large area of space, and it like to the point that at like even high warps, it can take like months to get from one end to another. So you're telling me that like for however long it takes for all these ships to fly to this one location and then get back after the celebration, you have no ships out there defending your borders in any way. So like the Klingons and the Romulans and whoever else can just be like, okay, well, these planets are ours now. Like it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. It's a very bad idea. Almost as if it was come up with by changeling infiltrators within the Starfleet command.
But yeah, if you need to bring every ship together to the same place for your plan to work, probably your plan is going to involve destroying all those ships somehow. So yeah. It's gonna be like Pearl Harbor times 500. It's gonna be no good. It's gonna be the Battle of Sector 001 again, or no, the Battle of Wolf 359. Yeah. They're both bad battles, but
isn't Wolf 359 in Sector 001?
Yeah, I think it actually is. But the Battle of Sector 001 is like first contact Borg fighting. But
sure.
Let's see. Okay, so no, Sector 001 is the Sol system according to this, and so Wolf 359 is 8 light years away.
Okay, so it's a different sector. Got it.
Yeah, whatever sector is, like Sector 002 or whatever.
I didn't know that a sector could be a single star system, but
yeah, I mean,
seems kind of pointless. But
I agree. Like, you already have a name for that area of space. Why would you need like this number designation?
I think we theorized about most of the stuff we saw, like in the Fleet Museum. There were a couple of Klingon, or I think there was a Romulan ship in there too.
Yeah, okay.
Like an old school Romulan ship.
There's a good picture that I found on the wiki that shows, you can see a lot of the ships, but they also have a listing here of the ones that are known. So what you can see in there obviously we have the Enterprise A. There was a Constitution class, like a really old school Constitution class.
The New Jersey.
The New Jersey, yeah. There's the Defiant, obviously, was there. You could see in one shot, like in the back, was an Excelsior class that we think is probably the USS Excelsior, since that was mentioned on a display earlier as being there. There were 2 Akira class ships, And that was, I mean, I say it's a relatively new class. It was new like around First Contact, so
Right.
It's interesting to me that 2 of them are in the museum. I wonder what they got up to. Voyager's obviously there. There was 1 Miranda class ship, 1 Nebula class ship, one that this is at least theorizing was the Enterprise from Enterprise, but like the refit configuration of it, which is why it looks a little different. And there's one Saber class ship. And then we've got the Bounty. We've got the Klingon D10 style ship, which according to this is Kronos 1, which was the ship from like Star Trek.
Isn't that the ship that they like murdered the Chancellor on?
Yes, that is the one.
Where they turned off the gravity and beamed on with magnet boots, and then purple blood got everywhere.
Yep.
Okay.
And so somebody was like, it was kind of important to Federation history, so I guess
think
maybe
the Klingons would want that.
Yeah, you would think. Maybe they don't care about like museum pieces. And then yes, there is one, and it doesn't have a name for it or anything here, but there's one Romulan bird of prey listed as a Talis class, but like the original series
right.
Version of the Romulan bird of prey, basically.
And I don't know what the New Jersey is and why it's supposed to be so famous. I assume it's from an episode of something.
Okay, so back in The Next Generation, Picard mentions to Scotty in the episode Relics that there was a recreation, or there was a Constitution class ship rather on display at the Fleet Museum. And so that's what, like, he goes onto the bridge of the holographic bridge, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I've seen one of these before at the museum." And so I guess we had to have one here. Why it's the New Jersey, who knows? One person on Reddit was theorizing that it's like it was basically the last Constitution class ship, like still operating. So they're like, "Oh, I guess put that one in there."
Could be. Okay. Interestingly, we didn't see any Galaxy class or Enterprise D or anything.
No, but there was a line where they're like, "Hey, we need something, we need help or whatever," and LaForge just like, "No, I can't help you." Which Geordi's really kind of an asshole in this episode, I have to say. I mean, he's got his reasons, but it still bothered me. But anyway, like it really bothered me that he's like, "No, I'm not going to help you. Screw you guys." Even though he's like, this could be bad for my family if I help you. I'm like, they're here telling you like the entire Federation is going to be destroyed, and you're just like, "But you're putting my kid in danger." It's like, you are all in danger. Everyone is. Do you not understand this? But anyway, his daughter,
the Fleet Museum will be safe. Don't worry.
His daughter's like, "Hey, Dad, what about Bay 13 or Bay 12 or something like that?" And he was like, "Alondra, no, we're not talking about this." And so that's that got some attention as, "Oh, maybe that's where,
Yep. I forgot about that, but yeah, that's probably what's in there. Totally. And I did like the layout where it's like they have, I guess they're like big walkways or something that go around the ships so that you can admire the outsides of the ships.
Oh, that makes sense. It didn't even occur to me that that's what, okay, that would make sense.
Or since they're so big, maybe you like ride a little tram thing around and ooh and ah at the ship as you ride around it or something.
I just figured that the Luby things were like somehow held the ships in place so they don't drift away or something. But that makes a lot of sense. I
mean, they could serve that function also.
Yeah, they could also do that. Nothing's multiple. I will have to say, despite being mad at Geordi, I did really like the moment where Data appears on the transporter pad and they have he's like, "Data?" And it was a really kind of sweet moment between like these two old friends or whatever.
Yep. Even though it's M510 or whatever, not Data,
right.
And like Geordi should know that Data wouldn't turn into an old man, but
that's a good point. Yeah, should have been like, "Is that a Soong? What was?"
And they keep making this deal about how he's not an android anymore. He's like a positronic human.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know.
Whatever.
Yeah. Whatever is the correct answer.
He's whatever Picard is, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. He's the same thing.
And that Soong guy seemed so proud that he was able to make an old man robot. He was like, the natural aesthetic of old age.
I mean, they have to explain the actor being older, and so Just put it in there.
Okay, why? Whatever. Again, whatever.
Yes, this is 100% intentional. Don't question it. All right, whatever. But yeah, this is we've got the whole crew not back together, but in the episode,
right?
So that's a big thing.
I guess so. I was thinking because they didn't get quite back together because Riker got captured, but
right,
and Deanna.
Yeah, but Riker and Deanna are both together and in the episode, assuming that's really her once again.
Sure.
But
and then we just continue not to even mention Wesley.
Yeah. There was a note in here in the wiki article. It's like, this episode marks the first time the main cast of The Next Generation have appeared together since Star Trek Nemesis, save for Denise Crosby and Will Wheaton. Like, well, we don't count them, so it's fine.
No, Denise Crosby's coming back. I think we had this whole discussion already about is what's her face still alive or whatever.
Right? Yeah, like Sela, she totally could be.
She just shows up for some reasons. I've been sent by the Romulans to help defeat the Changelings.
Or she could be, the voice behind the floaty changeling head. We don't know.
Ooh. So the Romulans are pulling the strings even behind the rogue changelings. Interesting.
It also notes that this is the first time that Star Trek regulars from 3 different series have appeared together on screen on a 4th show. Which, that's really specific. Okay.
I guess if you count, like, Worf.
Yeah, you gotta count Worf as the Deep Space Nine person.
Sure, whatever. Okay, I'll accept it. Sometimes I like these, like, this is the first time blank, like, really don't impress me when they have, like, a million qualifiers.
Exactly.
It's like, this is the first time
he did a backflip on the show, but in an episode that, like, begins with a T.
Right. This is the first time he did a backflip when a character from Voyager was present, but not from Deep Space Nine.
Yep.
It's like, oh, yeah, but, like, one of my favorite quotes from The Wire. It's like, when I write my memoirs, that shit'll be in there for sure. So I think, early in previous episodes, you were complaining that, like, we still kind of don't know what's going on. I think at this point we're pretty much into it now.
Yeah, we're getting I mean, we talked about how we still don't really know exactly what.
There's a central mystery, but we're, like, moving towards it.
Yes, exactly. We're filling out a little bit of the puzzle each time, and we're starting to get, like, a handle on not exactly the overall shape, but in a general way, like, where the direction that we're going.
Sure, yeah.
And so I don't. I like that. I like that we're filling in the blanks a little bit.
Yeah. So a little bit more of a plot advancey and not sweet character moments type episode, except a few little ones here and there with, like, Geordi, Data. Like I said, I thought that Data reveal was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Where they brought back the encounter at Farpoint scene, but, like, I guess they restored it up to the quality of and put it in the right aspect ratio and everything, so it looked kind of seamless.
Right, yeah. And I mean, they'd already restored for that release of, like, the Blu-rays and stuff, so I don't think they had to go far beyond that, except for the aspect ratio thing, which I didn't take a close look at it and see if they cheaped out and just, like, cropped it so it could fit into that aspect ratio, or if
because they filmed in widescreen anyway, didn't they?
They did. So, yeah, they didn't use that in the
remaster.
In the remaster,
because it was never intended to be
right.
Because you can always see, like, the edges of sets and stuff.
Exactly, you can see the edges of sets, or, like, people, like, holding a boom mic or something appearing in that bit, and so it could be that in those scenes or whatever there was nothing, like, showing up on the edges, and it was easy to put that in there, or maybe they just digitally added some stuff or pulled some
digitally
stuff
removed
out
a boom mic guy out of there or something.
Exactly. So maybe it wasn't too tough,
because it was an outdoor scene, it wasn't on set, so
exactly,
even though it was technically in the holodeck. But, they obviously didn't, like, build a set and then put a fake, like,
river or whatever.
Yeah, park or whatever in there. So yep, gang's almost back together. I'm looking forward to this Worf mission to rescue Riker. Maybe we'll get some more badass Worf action. And
But I think they're still throwing some character stuff. I mean, they had the Picard and Jack stuff.
Sure.
It was, I agree, maybe a little bit overdone.
Yeah, it's like, 'cause I was already sold on the Picard and Jack stuff. You don't need to be like, oh, maybe I did get some good stuff from you, Dad, or whatever. Other than we got syndrome.
Some Jack and Seven stuff where Seven got to wax poetic about like Voyager a little bit, which that was kind of nice.
Yeah.
Although it really gives you the impression that she like fell out of contact with the Voyager crew, and I was just like, oh, it's kind of sad.
Yeah, she was. It was a nice little moment. And then also, okay, I forgot to mention this, but like I guess Jack is like interested in Crash LaForge or something.
Oh yeah, that was Geordi's like, you stay away from my daughter.
He's like, yeah, no, don't even think about it.
I like somebody on Reddit was like, dude, LeVar Burton's like side-eye acting is on point. It's a shame that we like missed out on that for 7 years of The Next Generation while he wore the visor.
This is the advantage of getting those new eyeballs. So you'd be like, yeah, what you doing there, boy? Stay away from my daughter. Anyway, yep. So going pretty good. The cylinders are firing, it seems like. Any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
We're a bit more than the halfway point now, and so I feel like I can be more confident of the overall quality of the season since we've got more than half of it so far, and so far it's been quite good, I think. And there's a lot of people on Reddit and other places being like, this is the best season of Star Trek in a long time, and so I think that there's definitely justification for that at this point.
Yeah, I never saw season 1, but I think it's definitely better than season 2. I'm pretty confident saying that now. Season 2, I just keep thinking back to like all that thematically weird stuff with his mom and man. But
and then Gaius Baltar is his dad, and now we have like a Battlestar Galactica problem. It's all weird.
What if Gaius Baltar really was his dad?
Oh my gosh, okay. He's gonna.
You never know, Terry Metalis. He's trying to build his new. He's like, I'm going to work in Battlestar Galactica and 12 Monkeys. It's all going to fit together into the new Metalis-verse.
Metaliverse.
Oh, yeah, that's much better.
Somebody pointed out that it's like, we've wrapped up Data's story like twice already.
Yeah.
We've done it in Nemesis, and we did it in the first season of Picard. And it was like, in the first season of Picard, it felt like they were trying to fix the screw up that was Data's death in Nemesis, which did feel kind of like out of nowhere and pointless.
Yeah.
And then it was like, okay, we'll give him like a different ending. And now it's like, oh, but we're bringing him back again.
It's exactly like Tasha Yar. They gave her a kind of a subpar death, then they fixed it, and then they kind of undid it and brought her back again.
Yep. But, maybe what they're doing now is fixing the fact that they killed him at all.
Okay, maybe.
It's like, it's much better for the possibility of Data to continue out there.
Sure.
Which was happening in the extended universe anyway, because they were just like, they left that door open in Nemesis for, B4 he had all the Data's memories or whatever. And so in the books, and also I think in the game in Star Trek Online, it was just like, oh yeah, B4 basically became Data, and so Data is back later. And then he also like brings Lal back somehow, and it's like they continue, having adventures, which I think is the correct way to do that. I don't think that you need to kill Data off. So
yeah.
But I could be biased on that.
Yeah, I think totally. We always need more Data. Anyway, I think we can call it there.
Yeah.
If you've made it this far, thank you for listening. Remember to check out that E06 podcast, Undeclared Bajor. Just type it in YouTube, Undeclared Bajor. Type it in Apple Podcasts or whatever. Go listen to that stuff. And also check out the description where I occasionally put links to interesting things. We'll be back Monday with this week's episode. So the episode that you, the listener, probably watched yesterday. When you're listening to this, we will have our discussion of it on Monday. And then Undeclared Bajor will be back finally with... what episode is next? The Collaborator?
The Collaborator, yeah.
On Friday. We'll be back on schedule. No more vacations until a few months from now anyway. So I'm Fletcher, about to say goodbye as Data.
I was practicing deceit.
Until next time, do not seek anger, do not seek blame, do not practice deceit. It's not nice.